When, Tim, are you allowed to use that championship word?
Oh, shit, we're nowhere close. I like the intro, though. Did I write that myself? I've never been called big time in anything. It's a process, and certainly we're just happy to be back in the postseason. I thought we learned a lot in the 14 games. Lucky enough to beat the Spurs in round one. Tough loss in game 7, a really good Blazers team, but it's neat that I'm back here this summer. We can finally say we're back in the postseason.
Tim, when you look at what your team accomplished last year and then the way the playoffs went, what do you think they benefited from the most regarding the playoffs? Like who do you think really was able to kind of bring themselves to another level based upon that playoff experience?
I think Nikola, certainly. There was a guy, because of his atypical style of play, there was some questions and cynicism about how he play in playoff basketball, and he had a near historic first playoff run. Jamal Murray, certainly. The ups and downs were expected game to game, but I thought he got better as the playoffs went on. So I think it was just neat for all these young guys. You talk about it, but the best teacher is experience, and to see the physicality and see how important possession by possession is in the playoffs, I think all the guys got better.
Which was a tougher decision for you this offseason so far, Millsap or the extension that you gave?
I think with Paul, we knew he was going to be back. How he was going to be back, talk to his representation, try to figure out a way to ensure he was in the jersey. Thankfully, it was a team option. We didn't want to see him hit the open market, especially this offseason. A lot of money was flying around. With Jamal, we've had the most success, I think, when we've identified guys we can grow with, allow them to grow, and when they grow and produce, reward them. So we knew Jamal was going to be one of those guys, and we thought the sooner the better.
How much of a contribution do you anticipate Michael Porter making?
I think it'll be impactful. It's unfortunate he banged his knee right at the tail end of our mini camp coming into Vegas. He's a 6'11" wing that can make shots. I think he's got a high basketball IQ. He's used to succeeding. So we don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's going to have to earn those minutes. It's hard to find rotation minutes as a rookie. It's even more difficult as a rookie in a 54-win team, but I think he'll certainly help us this season.
All right, let's have some fun with this. Rank the centers at passing in their prime. Arvydas Sabonis, Bill Walton, Nikola Jokic.
So far from objective. I think Nikola's one with a bullet. Those guys, our GM Arturis, played with Sabonis. Sabonis is amazing. Bill Walton's amazing. But I think what separates Nikola, respectfully, those guys, is he's able to make plays.
But you called them amazing. You didn't have to do the respect. Yeah, you got that done.
I don't want to be hated in San Diego or Lithuania. Nikola can make plays on the move. A lot of those guys are elbow passers. They're stationary passers. Nikola can make plays on the move. So I think Nikola's the best passing big ever, and he's one of the best passing players, period, I think, in our league presently.
So how do you guys operate relative to the point guard position? Because you have two guys in Murray and Harris that you could debate. Are they point guards? Are they not point guards? Are they combo guards? Do you consider Jokic your point guard?
I think he's our best playmaker. I think we've kind of gone away from traditional positions. Can you advance the ball and initiate your point guard? Jamal, and we never expect him to be John Stockton. But I think he's done a fantastic job. Is improving his playmaking every year, becoming more adept in pick and roll, and he's done a great job kind of running our team.
One of the interesting aspects of the season that your team just had was how successful you were in the regular season in light of all the injuries that you had. And that bench did such an amazing job and benefited from having to play larger roles. Guys like Beasley, guys like Craig, guys like Morris. Were you surprised, Tim, that, thrown into larger roles when they had to, that they were as successful as they were?
You cross your fingers. We had faith because those guys work so hard, but you don't know until you know. I joke with Monty quite a bit. I'm his biggest fan. I didn't think he was going to do what he did this year, and only played one NBA game in the previous season. And a lot of the credit needs to go to our coaching staff, their development, and also their willingness to allow them to play through mistakes. Because you're playing, looking over your shoulder the whole time. None of these guys will have success.
Evan Cohen, Brian Geltzeiler talking with Nuggets president Tim Connelly here on NBA Radio. Your roster is fascinating, and it got better this week, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I'm sure you're going to agree with me. Were you surprised that you had the availability to get Jerami Grant?
Very much so. As you know, the league is such a fluid league. Things change quickly. They have a really smart front office, and I think they did a fantastic job adjusting on the fly, pivoting when they had an unexpected situation, with Paul George. I hope we got better because he just traded him into space, so we didn't lose anybody.
Well, you lost the first-round pick.
Yeah, I know, but the first-round pick's not playing this year.
Right.
So,
right.
No, it's a guy that we've long targeted. I think his positional versatility, his athleticism, he's become a very good shooter, and there's some familiarity. I've known his family for a real long time, so it's always easier when you know what type of person you're at in the locker room.
You know, you just said something very interesting. I would assume that in your position, it's everyone's goal to get to the point where you're not worried about the first-round pick that's not playing this year.
No,
'Cause in
we're
years
no,
past,
no.
no, but I'm saying in years past, you can't make that deal.
No,
Your
absolutely.
team's not real enough to make that
No,
deal.
absolutely. No, the first-round picks are extremely valuable. I just said in jest, we've been fortunate with some of the guys the second round that played in the first-round value. We got a guy this year in the second round we're very high on in Bol, and at some point there's cannibalization happens. You can't just keep putting young players and young players and young players. So while it's going to be a big loss, you never like to go in the season, especially I'm a scout. You know, it's not fun not having that first-round pick, but we thought to add a 25-year-old multi-position player like Jerami and who he is as a person, I think will be a seamless fit to our locker room. We thought the opportunity was too good to miss.
So you're going to add Grant, you're adding Porter in, but generally your core is the same as it was last year. The whole complexion of the conference has changed, okay, with Kawhi coming to the Clippers, the Lakers getting Anthony Davis. Where do you see your place, considering what a great year you had last year, where do you see your place in the conference?
I think as long as we're getting better, and it's such a kind of cop-out answer, but I really believe it, I think we should use our internal measuring sticks. Are we getting better? Are we better than we were last year? Regular seasons, we could win less and still have a better season. And if we're lucky enough to return to the postseason, it's all about matchups. But I do like our core. I think our continuity and the patience that's been allowed by ownership to create that continuity might give us a leg up with a lot of these teams with so many new faces.
All right, let's talk about a couple of league-wide things. So I'm going to leave names out for your sake. A player agrees to a contract during a moratorium period, or during the moratorium period, doesn't sign it, and then looks at other options when he has to sign it. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely not. I've had situations in the past where you've had those things. I think, unfortunately, now there's such a rush to be first with the news that these things come out, and then you deal with the recourse afterwards. I think your word's your word. I think in this environment, that's all you have. And I think it's important that when you give or get a commitment, you should expect that commitment to be held up.
Now, the other thing in terms of league-wide issue, coach's challenge. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I understand it. It just came out. Do you understand it?
I barely understand anything. I'm not the details guy. I get it. It's fun. I'll watch a game sometimes and ask about some of those things. We've talked about extensively the GM meetings. I know it's going to be a neat addition. I'm thankfully it's not a flag being thrown on the court. That can be dangerous. But look, the league deserves a lot of credit. They're always trying to push the envelope and how to make the game better, more transparent. And I think any time you try something new, who knows how it's going to work out. But I give Adam and the coach a lot of credit, at least trying something new.
Do you have a problem when players under contract ask to be traded?
Yes. This is like therapy.
I'm protecting you. I'm not naming names, nothing. No tampering.
I was
going
about
on.
to ask that question, naming names.
No Magic Johnson over here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Gonna have like a bunch of Hall of Famers. It's players. We're all selfish, right? So players, if they make the request in a respectful manner and there's constant back and forth, it's not something you want to hear, but that's fine. That's part of it. If a guy thinks his role is not going to be where he would like it to be, and then that's why you have contracts. You communicate, you're respectful, and you say, okay, maybe we can work with you. You say, respectfully, I'm happy that you voice your opinion, but we're not going to do anything.
So, but like, for example, it seems like back in the old days, if we're going to make ourselves feel old, you sign a guy to a contract, and he's under contract, and that's it. Now, it's like, okay, so you signed Jamal Murray to this extension, and I feel like, as an outsider, you probably still have to recruit him, even though he's already on your roster and you locked him in for a massive deal. Do you feel that way?
Not really. I think if you're consistently honest with these guys, and also you have to be honest even when it doesn't benefit the team. Occasionally, you have to say, you're right, I don't see your path to play. How can we help you elsewhere? I don't think you can always just give the company line, expect these guys to be blindly loyal. Again, every decision I make is hopefully for the best of the organization. Their decisions they're going to make is the best for the individual. So how do you balance those two agendas? But I do think it's the now nature of sports. Everybody wants to be happy now. The 24-hour news cycle, social media has made things increasingly difficult. And it's, again, sound like an old guy when I am old now, but generationally, it's instant gratification. And if it's not here right now, then how do I get out of it? How can I go somewhere else where I can get it quicker?
Now, you have a coach whose personality fits the personality of your team uniquely well. When you hired Michael Malone, was that the vision, or it just kind of ended up that way?
I was fortunate, known Malone for a very long time. We played at Loyola College in Baltimore, not far from where I grew up. He used to recruit my brother's players when he was coaching collegiately. I worked with him in New Orleans. So we knew at that point we were not where we wanted to be, and we needed to kind of reset some of the internal culture and just drop our heads, don't skip steps, work hard, and hopefully on the other end, if you get enough talented players, you can win some ball games. So I think our team is completely emblematic of Mo's approach. And without him, we certainly would not be coming off a 54-win season and return to the postseason.
If you were Masai Ujiri today, would you be happy or sad?
Masai's a dear friend. I think every day is great for Masai. I'd be very happy. He's got a beautiful family. He's got great kids.
All right, professionally,
professionally,
would you be happy or sad?
I'd be very happy. Just won a championship. I think if you don't enjoy those moments, you're a miserable person. You got to certainly. It's not. They did everything right. They went the highest level. It's a first-class organization. The way Toronto supported that team was goosebump inspiring. I think Masai's in a very good spot.
All right, last thing with Tim Connelly, the president of the Denver Nuggets. If I would have rewound it 15 years ago and I would have said that you would have a chance professionally to come home and you wouldn't want to, what would you say now about that opportunity?
15 years ago, so I'm trying to think, was I getting paid at that point? So 15 years ago, let's say that's 2004. I was getting 26 grand a year.
So yeah, you would have taken any job at that point.
There's a lot of hypotheticals at bars. I do a lot of things at that point.
Right.
I'm very fortunate that I work for an ownership group that has shown so much patience and loyalty, and I'm a big believer in reciprocating what's given to you. I think, and what we've been able to accomplish in Denver. I think we're just starting to scratch the surface. We have a team that should allow for sustained success. We have the best coaching staff in the NBA. We have an ownership group that, from Arsenal to the LA Rams, no one's more powerful, but they're just normal, nice people. So it's, again, I'm just happy that anybody wants me.
Tim, thank you so much for a couple of minutes. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Tom, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
That's Tim Connelly here on NBA Radio.